wow. What a finish. A bittersweet moment. I'm experiencing many emotions right now. Big night for the Devils. The end of an era. The end of the jersey. So much to get to. A lot to talk about. Shout out to all of you. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button. Smash the like. Share with a friend. Thank you very much. And they did it. In the season finale at The Rock, our beloved New Jersey Devils beat the Ottawa Senators by a score of 4-3 in overtime. And hold on, I just got to do something here. Exciting game. Great way to finish off the season. I know a lot of you wanted to tank, but, we can't tank. Just win games. Gave the fans a good send-off. I'm trying to think. There's so much going through my mind right now. Shout out to everybody that said what's up tonight that I met. I'm terrible with names, and so I apologize. But shout out to everybody that I met tonight. So it's always great talking to Devils fans and people that watch the lives and all of that. So thank all of you. Great meeting you guys. And the jersey is over. The Devils' home season is over. We have seen at least a few guys, if not more, play their last game as a New Jersey Devil at the Prudential Center. Wild times. We're going into an offseason with so much uncertainty, so many question marks. But you guys know, win or lose, we booze. Cheers to all of you. And those victory drinks, wow. It's going to be a long summer, folks. But cheers to all of you. Cheers to the Devils, sending the home faithful out with a victory, beating the Sens by a score of 4-3 in an overtime thriller. And we get to the game. First period, it looked early like the Devils may lay the smacketh down, but in typical Devils fashion, it was a little bit of a struggle. Nico gets his 27th at 5:12 from Dawson Mercer and Timo Meier to give the Devils the 1-0 lead. And later on in the period, while shorthanded, the Devils strike, oh so dangerous. Jack Hughes springs Connor Brown, and he kind of botched on the shot, honestly. I got to rewatch it. When I'm at the game, it's not the same as when you get to see the replays at home and stuff. And I, motored on out of Newark and just got home. And by the way, I was kind of pissed. On MSG, they said, we're going to come back with Sheldon Keefe. Sheldon Keefe never came on MSG, so I'll have to watch that, after I get off of here. But Connor Brown, another bright spot on the season. And again, I'll always say it. I hate silver linings, moral victories. But Connor Brown was a great pickup, a positive parting gift from the former general manager of our beloved New Jersey Devils, Tom Fitzgerald, signing Connor Brown. Great player, has been rock solid for the boys this year. And he gets a shorty, his 18th of the season from Jack Hughes at 14:51, gives the Devils a 2-0 lead. And I forget if the disallowed goal was before or after this, but it could have been 3-0. We had a disallowed goal for an offsides. As soon as it was challenged, you already know what time it is. The coach's challenge is almost always correct. And that one came off the board. But 2-0 Devils after one. And I thought, okay, this could be a rather drama-free victory in the home finale. But oh no. In typical New Jersey Devils fashion, the boys had to make it interesting. In the second period, the Sens took it to us. Amadio gets his 15th of the season at 7:42, cut the Devils' lead to 2-1. And then on the power play, a few minutes later, Shane Pinto uncorked an absolute laser right through Daws for his 23rd of the season at 10:25, tied it up at 2. And at that point, I did feel like this was going to be a Devils collapse, in a typical fashion, just a meltdown to end the season on a sour note on home ice. But luckily they clawed back, but not before we faced a little more adversity. And shout out to anybody who bet on this. At this point, it seems like free money nearly to bet on former New Jersey Devils to score goals against this team, because I think it's happened nearly every single time we have played a team with a former Devil. And Fabian Zetterlund, come on down. The young, promising prospect at the time, which was a part of the Timo Meier deal. He went to San Jose, and then he was later traded by San Jose to Ottawa. But Zetterlund departed the Devils in that Timo trade, and he gets the go-ahead goal in this one. Shocking to nobody. I hope some of you bet on it. I've tried to retire from betting for the most part, but next season I may have to get more active because betting on guys like Zetterlund, Zaka, all these guys always score goals against us. It seems like free money, but Fabian Zetterlund gets his 17th of the season unassisted at 14-14 to give the Sens the 3-2 lead. That is how the period would end, and I was like, my God, we just got shell-shocked in that period, and I thought we were going to lose fully. I mean, I'll admit it. After giving up 3 unanswered, to be up 2-0 and then be down 3-2. I thought it was a wrap, but we head to the third down 1, and the Devils in the third period strike shorthanded again at 13:28. This time, Dawson Mercer from the captain, Nico Daws, ties it up at 3, and now the Rock is jumping. And I will say, shout out to everybody that went to the game. It is the only thing I can attribute it to is the football season, but honestly, a couple of these games I've been to in the past couple weeks when we were eliminated, our crowd has been more lively than when we were on an 8-game heater in October. But, you know, I get it. The crowds get bigger and people get more excited post-football. But, like, my God, we have to be a better crowd earlier on in the season and in the middle of the season. Some terrible crowds I've witnessed this year, but it's crazy. 3 of the best crowds I saw this whole year were when we were already eliminated, and tonight was one of them. Everyone was fired up. Last time to see the boys before the long offseason. The last night for the jersey, obviously. And so I guess it had all the makings of, a lively atmosphere. Mercer ties it up at 3. The arena goes bonkers. And obviously the refs sucked. The refs, terrible officiating. They were getting it. The crowd was getting wild. And that is how the third period would end. Tied up at 3. We go to overtime. Devils had a couple chances, and then they drew the penalty. I forget who took the penalty. And with the extra attacker, the lethal New Jersey Devils doing what they do best, Nico Daws sends us off with the game-winning goal on the power play. Nico's 28th of the season from Jack Hughes and Dougie Hamilton to give the New Jersey Devils the 4-3 victory and to end the season at home, at least on a positive note. Obviously they have Tuesday in Boston to close out the season, but this was the home finale, fan appreciation night. And they sent the fans home with something to celebrate, a 4-3 victory. The Jersey sees its last tour of duty in an exciting win for this club. We get to the game stats. Both teams, Senators and Devils, 30 shots apiece. Senators working us over in the faceoff department. I thought it might be worse than this. Honestly, I feel like Cody Glass. I was watching Cody Glass intently throughout the game, and he was getting killed in the faceoff circle. I'd like to look up his final faceoff stats, but Senators 56.4% to the Devils 43.6%. Senators go 1 for 4 on the power play. The Devils scored 2 goals on their power play, so we actually outscored the Senators on their power play. Devils converting on one of their 4 power plays, the one that mattered most in overtime. Senators with 16 hits, Devils with 12 hits. Senators 9 block shots, Devils 7 block shots. Senators 11 giveaways to the Devils 23 giveaways. Very, very sloppy. Senators 8 takeaways and the Devils with 2 takeaways. Those are your game stats. And we get to some player stuff here. Oh, yeah, the face-off stats aren't in here. If someone could look up Cody Glass's face-off stats, I would appreciate that. The captain, Nico Daws, another good night for El Capitan. 2 goals and an assist, 5 shots for Nico. Connor Brown with a goal, 2 shots and a block. Mark McLaughlin with 2 hits. Timo Meyer with an assist, 3 shots and a hit. Lenny Haminaho took that double minor. Oh, shout out to the penalty kill, by the way. Killing off that double minor in the first period, that was huge. And then Haminaho took another penalty later in the game. I think it was a hooking. What else we got here? The Bradder with 6 shots. Jack Hughes with 2 assists and 3 shots. I believe that brings Jack Hughes to an exactly point per game player on his career, if I'm not mistaken. Dawson Mercer with a goal and an assist for a multi-point night for him on 5 shots. Brendan Dillon, 4 blocks and 4 hits. Dougie Hamilton with 3 shots. Johnny Kovacevic with a hit. Shimo Nemitz, a shot, a block, a hit. Shout out to the youngster Villain making his NHL debut. Obviously a big night for him. And Nico Daws in net. 27 saves on 30 shots. I thought he looked pretty sharp. He probably wants at least one of those back, but he looked serviceable. Not showing signs of rust. Hasn't played in the NHL in, what has it been? About 5.5 months or so. His start was mid-October. So yeah, you're talking 5.5 months. Wild. Wish we could have seen a little bit more of him earlier on in the season, middle of the season, but it is what it is. Nico Daws, one of the big question marks with, the goaltending heading into next season. Nico Daws is a restricted free agent. Will be interesting to see what the new GM does with that whole situation as a whole, but I'd imagine they'd like to keep Daws around, but I'm also sure that he is looking for a destination that will give him a pretty straight and clear path to the National Hockey League. And with Markstrom and Daws here, that certainly is a murky situation for him. I'm going to get to the chat in a second. Zach, thank you for the super, sir. I'm so sad the season's over, and I'm so happy I was there tonight. Long road to September. Yeah, it was an exciting game. I typically go to fan appreciation night. The band, my self-imposed ban just got lifted recently, and so I was like, you know what? Fan appreciation night. Last time to see him at the Rock, the farewell to the jersey, which I never really liked. Had to be there. Shout out to everybody I met, like I said. And yeah, is it September yet? Is it September yet? Because we are all going to be anxiously awaiting the start of a new season and hopefully the true start of this team getting their shit together and becoming a perennial contender. Bring us back to glory. Whoever the new GM is, I just hope they get the hiring right, and I hope we see immediate action to right the ship, because we are at a major crossroads here, in my opinion, and we are a few key moves away from either becoming a real contender or just bottoming out. Like the decisions are that important, and I feel like we could go either way pretty quickly. Lots of work for the incoming GM to do. Hopefully, we're on president watch, we're on GM watch. Now there's a little bit of conflicting reports I've seen in the past couple of days. Is the ownership group considering one person for the job? I didn't think so originally, but now it seems like maybe that's in play. Maybe it's going to be two different guys. I have a bunch of theories on all these things. Maybe I'll get to in a little bit, but thank you very much, Zach. You definitely saw a good one, and the boys gave us a nice little parting gift after a really, really rough season. Michael Miranda, thank you for the super. I caught the puck at tonight's game in OT. Anyone have footage, have the video from the big screen? Oh, dude, that was you? Were you like right on the railing? Because I heard everyone applaud. I couldn't really see it perfectly, but I think you caught it clean, right, Michael? I think you had it got deflected up and you had a clean catch. Did they put it on the big screen? I was all over the place during that. But that is pretty awesome, man. I'm sure someone has to have it. Amazing little memento from this painful season, but a nice little highlight at the end of it, I would say. All right, let me see what we got here. Man, I'm going to go back a little bit. $21-12 NYC, looking at 11th or 12th overall pick in the draft. I would love to see them traded as part of a package toward a top 6 forward. Oh, sir, from your mouth to the incoming GM's ears, I have wanted to trade every first-round pick for the last several years. I do believe in my heart, no one will ever be able to change my mind about this. Where this team is right now, drafting with this year's first-round pick, in my opinion, would be absolutely criminal. This team needs win-now pieces, impact pieces now. The time to win is now. The guys on this roster, the fan base, have been tortured. We've been under a, for lack of a better term, inactive regime and administration that's done absolutely nothing to bolster the roster when we had obvious departments of need for the past several seasons, and it cannot continue. And so while I understand the allure to many people of all these prospects and these kids and draft this guy and draft that guy, those are not win now pieces, and we need to win now. So the key players on this team are getting very damn close to 30. And like I've said a million times before, cores age quickly, and guys, free agency, injury, natural slowdown due to age. we're not this young team anymore that people were talking about during the rebuilding years. You know, that bright future that we were promised during a decade-long rebuild, these were supposed to be the winning years. And so, unfortunately, there is no margin for error. There is no time to draft players in the first round and continue to talk about the bright future. The time to win is now. The future is now. We must see win now moves, and one of the biggest win now moves you can do, and when you look at all the winning teams of the past few years, they all have something in common, and is that their GMs do not give a shit about first-round picks because they are in win-now mode, and they will trade them all away. Trade them for proven commodities, win-now pieces, guys that are going to play in your lineup. The bigger, the better. Obviously, a top six forward is a piece we all want to see. Tyler Toffoli was never replaced. Fitz thought the answers were in the room. It never was, and here we are. And the first-round pick this year must be dealt for win-now pieces. George Shannon says trade picks and players for Tkachuk. Would love to see it. The number one name potentially on the board, in my opinion. You guys know how I feel about Brady. I will say I was super early on that whole idea. Going back over 2 years ago, I believe, when I first started talking about Brady, and people were flaming me, both Senators fans and a lot of Devils fans that didn't realize what a unicorn this man is. But over the last couple of years, he's opened a lot of eyes. And it's unfortunate because even though I don't think Ottawa would have dealt him back then, his value is probably much higher now. He kind of broke out, I would say, on the main stage. Playing in Canada, he goes a little bit under the radar. Obviously, the captain of the Senators, people don't see him nearly as much as they see some of the other big-name players in the league. But he pretty much had a global coming out party on the Four Nations stage. And I think a lot of people were like, whoa, this guy's special. And then obviously with the Olympics, what more can I say about him? Brady Tkachuk, a true culture shift on and off the ice. There is no player in the league I would be more ecstatic to get than if the New Jersey Devils were able to obtain Brady Tkachuk. But you got to force him out of Ottawa first. And so I don't know. You know, it's something nice to dream about. Tropical Flamingo says Brady is top priority piece if we could somehow get him. I offer a crazy package and try to twist their arm. Crazy Alex, at least the jersey went out with a win. Yeah. I've been over it. I will say I did hate it when it first made its debut. It did grow on me slightly. And so I didn't absolutely hate it. And it got graduated to like strongly dislike status. But hopefully they knock it out of the park on the next one. They have an opportunity to do something really special and nail it. And hopefully they do, because that one was a little bit of a reach. And then I do find it funny that after they realized the reaction to it was pretty poor, they were like, by the way, Marty Brodeur designed it. Like, come on, give me a break. Give me a break. John Fay says, farewell to the jersey, and thanks for all the wins and the memories. Yeah, the Devils, and it was either Amanda Stein or the Devils or both, put up a post earlier in the day about some of the best moments that occurred while wearing the jersey. And the one that always jumps out for me was, I believe it was last year, Nico Daws' hat trick against the Predators. I was there for that. Launched my hat. I think I probably yelled at some people that were hanging on to theirs. You guys know the rules around here. If you're wearing a hat, and I don't care if you just bought it at the gift shop, I don't care if you just purchased it in the Devil's Den for $39.99. If you are in attendance at a game and a player gets a hat trick, you best be launching that thing onto the ice, assuming you're within striking distance of the ice. Now, you get a pass if you're kind of far away and then your hat is spared. But if you're in distance of frisbeeing that thing onto the ice, you must do it, and you must do it immediately. Jason, I thought that win was garbage playing a backup squad team. And again, it just shows how this team needs to score off the rush to put up goals. Yeah. And until new personnel is brought in, nothing is going to change. Obviously, they were without some of their big-name players and Reimer and net, but I will take the excitement. I mean, listen, I didn't want to go there to see a loss. I know a lot of you were, hoping for the tank, but, I hope the pick's traded anyway. A top 12 pick still has value, especially in a package bundled up with some other stuff. True Patriot. Brownie was a nice addition, one of the bright spots of a shitty season. Completely agree. Brown was his best signing traveling. I would say Brown and Glass, probably two of the better fit signings, I guess probably ever, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it. And I mean, Pesci was a good one too. Obviously, didn't see a lot of him this year. He missed a million games due to injury because the man is an absolute savage and eats pucks for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But Brown and Glass are definitely towards the top of the list for sure. Brown was a nice surprise. And both him and Cody Glass, I think, are the exact types of guys you need to go on playoff runs, deep playoff runs. And I could see them both having big playoff games and moments. Brownie and Glass, I could both see scoring, playoff game-winning goals and making huge plays in the playoffs. And we got to get there to give these guys a chance to do it, to work their magic. But love both of them. I will say I do hope that Connor Brown, is a every game third line player for us next year. I will say it would be somewhat of an indictment on the incoming GM if, due to lack of depth, Brown is still a top 6 guy. You could do worse, obviously. I do think he's filled in this little garbage time cleanup parts of the schedule here, has played admirably in that spot. But ideally, if you really want to be a good playoff team with true cup aspirations, I would like to see Brown push down to the third line with, a top 6 player coming in. But these are all things for that GM to figure out when they get on the job. Jason, a whopping 6 high dangers tonight is a joke. Yeah, it's pretty low. Pretty bad. Austin, my man, good win for the Devils. Loved how absolutely crazy the Prudential Center got. They were in a frenzy. They were certainly in a frenzy. John Fay, that was a great shot on the Sens PP. Oh, yeah, that was a bullet, dude. It was the one-time clapper. Daws didn't have a chance. That thing was high velocity. I was like, whoa. And that was to tie it up, and then I thought the game was over. But the never say die New Jersey Devils. Bobby, my man, good evening, Ace. Hell of a game. Daws looked great. Should have been him should have been in net most, I'm assuming, of the season or whatever. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Here we are. A lot of things to evaluate over the summer, and we'll see how it goes. Travelin says Brown was his best signing as of now. Charlie was at the game. Place was rocking. John Fay said, oh, buddy, it was crazier than what you heard and saw on TV. I'd imagine it probably was. I haven't seen any of the TV replays yet, but very exciting game. And like I said, the crowd was more lively and into the game than the games when we were in the midst of an 8-game heater in October. Wild stuff, but that's, I guess, the nature of certain hockey markets. During football season, people aren't as dialed in. And then once football ends, man, how sweet this game would have been if we were a playoff team. Like, I'm still, it was fun. It was great. I'm excited, but it has a whole different meaning if you're going to the playoffs versus we're not going to see these guys on the Prudential Center ice till September. Brutal stuff. Tropical Isles truly choked here late in the season, as did the Wings. Wings now really have longest non-playoff streak. Tough times in Motor City. Yeah, a lot of people think, Yzerman should be on the hot seat. A lot of people saying Chris Ilitch in charge over there, Mike Ilitch's son. Probably will not do anything to Yzerman. It seems that Yzerman's bulletproof there. He's trying. The Wings came close, but it was nice to see our boys put the dagger in their season last night. Jersey 61 says, good riddance to that jersey. We could do so much better. I agree. I'll probably have a whole video on the topic in the next couple weeks. In the next couple weeks, there's going to be a ton of videos. I'm just trying to think before I go down more comments. Faye, the building was still pretty packed with black and red even during OT. No one left that building. I saw a few people trickle out, but overall it was pretty full till the end. The main hockey report. Love me some Pavel Zacha. Is that my man Ben? They change all the names. If that's Ben, what's up, Ben? I don't know if it is or not, though, because they changed the names in the format. My apologies, guys. I try to keep track. When they did the format change and the names changed, I can't keep up. I'm an old man with a slippery memory. John Fay Mercer put that puck in the net like it offended him. Yeah, quietly, decent. I mean, listen, down season for everybody, but they are kind of salvaging their numbers in these cleanup games. Jason says, I hope we never see this group again. We cannot. This group, in the words of Tom Fitzgerald, this group was not good enough, and we cannot come back with the same group. Now, his changes were not impactful enough or big enough, but hopefully the new GM comes in and is like, I have no affiliation to any of these guys. I have no allegiance to any of them. I am going to do what is in the best interest of the team, or what I believe to be in the best interest of the team, and start making moves. Start shipping guys out. Tropical Flamingo, anyone see the Kopitar speech on the ice the other day? Very emotional for the Kings. Screw Kopitar. Classy player, great player, but Kopitar. After that 2012 final, I hate that man. Bobby, good evening, Ace. Hell of a game. We talked about this already. Here's a thought for you. Brat for Larkin, 1-for-1. Also, I want to sign Samu Salmonen. Kid has a ton of upside. Now a national champion with Denver. Brat for Larkin, 1-for-1. Interesting. I'm a little on the fence or unsure. I mean, Brad is going to have a ton of value on the market, I'm sure. I'm just wondering, because Larkin is a center, I'm curious if he even wants out of there. I'm sure he would love to play with Jack, fellow gold medalist. Shout out to Team USA, the 2026 gold medalists at the Olympics. Would Larkin want out? I don't know, but I would love Larkin. I mean, listen, sign me up. And especially, there's so many things attached to that, though. You're talking about Larkin's, if Nico's still here or not, but I would like Larkin no matter what. How could you not like a guy like that? Michael, I caught the puck at tonight's game. Wait, so were you asking for the video or did you get it? Gregory, is goaltending now the biggest offseason need outside of secondary scoring? Gregory, I would argue that you could make the argument for pretty much any area as the biggest offseason need. Some people will tell you that it's definitely goaltending. I'm still not listen, I'm concerned about it, but some people are like mortified with the goaltending situation. I'm not quite there. Certainly concerned, but in terms of secondary scoring, yeah, I mean, the bottom six is going to need to be figured out once again. We have some solid options here. There's going to be some solid options potentially via trade and or free agency. But what about primary scoring? I still believe if someone said to me, what is the single biggest need for the Devils? I'm going to go with the same thing I've been saying forever. A legitimate top six winger for me is the number one. And listen, there's plenty of them. There's plenty of things we need. But for me, the top six winger is paramount. Paramount. Tyler Toffoli was never replaced, and we've never really recovered. Not to say that, if we did bring in another guy that all of our woes would be solved. I'm not going to say that, because when you look at this team this season and some of these players, you could certainly make a case for a lot of problematic areas. But for me, the single biggest one is that we do need a legit top six winger that could bury the puck, a shoot first guy, preferably that brings that the skilled grit. I want a guy that's going to run guys over, go to the dirty areas, go to the corners, run the goalie over, get in the crease, do whatever it takes to win. We need some dogs. Absolute dogs. Just the name. I'm wondering if these results that have been produced in March and April are going to be a momentum boost going into the offseason and possibly signing people. Well, the free agent class is not great, but we have a ton of pieces to make a trade. Tons of pieces, picks, prospects, roster players. We have no shortage of assets to dangle to improve this roster. There's tons of ways you could go about this. And like I've said from, I guess, a week or two ago now, easily for me, and this is not an exaggeration, the single biggest offseason in New Jersey Devils history. Ritter Engine, I just got back from the game. I saw you, Ace, walking past 117, but couldn't catch up to you. I'm motoring, bro. You should have ran me down. I typically do move pretty quickly, especially for a big fella. It might catch people by surprise, but especially on the concourse, I'm hitting the hole. I'm like a running back. I'm like trying to dip and dodge through all the action. I had a couple different friends at the game, and so I was kind of bouncing around the arena tonight. Man, what an exciting win, though. John Fay, glory to the jersey, and all the wins we had wearing it. David Chimes, Nico scoring 27+ with our offense weak. Didn't sleep when Jack was out and we were losing. Not the problem. Oh, I would never blame Nico Hischier. I'm a Nico Hischier guy, but I'm very curious where his head is at about the future and all of those conversations that are inevitably, going to happen between him and the new general manager when that person is named. Austin, I hope I never have to see the jersey again. Well, you're going to see it again in replays and stuff, but I am happy that it's being put out to pasture, and I am very excited for the new design to come out, and I hope that they nail it because it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy to do. Don't mess it up. Yeah, 23 giveaways is terrible. Traveling new third better be badass. There's multiple layups that are just there for the easy taking. John Fay, interesting fact, Nico's only 4 or 5 faceoffs away from 1,000. Yeah, I think he's taken the most in the league by far, they said. Beast. Absolute beast. Richie won't have any effect on next season. At least 4 guys played their last game on this team tonight. Yeah, maybe even more. But last home game as a Devil for definitely, like you said, several guys. And Tuesday in Boston could be the very last New Jersey Devils game for some of these players. Tropical Flamingo, the shorties were awesome, and 2 to boot. That's awesome. Yeah, 2 shorties. Beautiful. Oh, wow. Glass finished 50%. Okay. Michael Hughes is officially averaging a point per game throughout his career. Amazing. With the 2-point night, Jack is now, what is it, like 427 or something? Adam says, I don't want to see Daws walk. We got Nico Daws. Yeah, he's restricted, so he doesn't have all of the freedoms that an unrestricted free agent would have, and it's going to be very interesting to see what the organization does here, because I think he said in the postgame he made his NHL debut 5 years ago, which is crazy to think that he's been kind of floating around for that long. It was 4.5 years ago. October 23rd, 21. My God. It is crazy. Time flies, guys, and this is why I always say the time to win is now. Years just boop, boop, boop. In some ways, it seems like just yesterday we beat the Rangers in that glorious 7-game series, and here we are now, 3 seasons later. And guess what, folks? And guess what? We've missed the playoffs 2 of those 3 years, and the year we made the playoffs last season, we got smashed by Daddy, the Carolina Hurricanes, in 5 games. And so when you think back to that series and what has transpired since, 3 precious years of the primes of Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt, Timo Meier. 3 seasons down the drain that they will never get back. Those men will never get those years back. And you cannot continue to waste it, because if you do, we'll be sitting here in a few years from now talking about a core on paper that was supposed to be a perennial contender and managed to only win a single playoff round. Unbelievable stuff. Nightmare fuel. Bobby Whitting, I wonder when they're going to reveal the New Jersey. Any idea of the scheme? No idea. And I have no idea when it'll be announced. I'd imagine sometime in the summer, you would think. But the NHL seems to be absolutely terrible at these things with the rollout, the timing, the supply of the jerseys when they announce it. And so, hopefully this time around they do much better than they have historically done with these things. Because if history is any indication of how it's going to go, it's going to be nothing short of a debacle. And I blame the league for that. But hopefully, the design is killer. Hopefully they have plenty of jerseys. There's not a shortage. Hopefully they don't put players' entire names on the back like Jack Hughes. I mean, what a crazy thing that was. Oh, no. Oh, no. Is this happening? Hold on one second, guys. I'm being sabotaged again. by my buddy. Hold on. This is bad. This is so bad. Some of you may remember what my buddy Brian did to me the one night. Absolutely disgusting. He had like thousands of calories delivered to my door, and he knows I have no willpower, and I ate it all. At least some of it on the stream, and then I ate the rest of it in private like the slob that I am. But hold on one second. I have to go to my door. I should have never given him my address. There's some calories waiting. Please hold 1 second. Be right back. Sabotage in action. Hold on. Oh. This is so bad, guys. This is so bad. Oh, no. I don't even know what this is. This is terrible. This is terrible news. My friend has sabotaged me again. We have at my door. This is deadly. I open my front door. I hate you, Brian. And this, oh my God, it smells so good. There's some wings here from Papa John's. My desk is covered with stuff right now. Bear with me 1 second. We got wings. What is this? They got this thing sealed up. And then there's 2 boxes. Here's box A from Papa John's. My blade is not handy. Man, I wasn't prepared for this. Hold on, let's see. Behind door number 1. I'm manhandling this box. I'm absolutely, oh my God. Oh my God, this is so bad. Oh, this is diabolical. This is absolutely diabolical. You tell your friends you're trying to eat healthy and reel it back in, and then what do? The sinister actions of an evil. I didn't even know that this is ridiculous, guys. And thank you, and screw you, Brian. Thank you for this, but also screw you because this is evil. I don't have the willpower to not eat this. A cookie cake, and then oh my God, this is so bad, guys. We're in trouble. And I ate a lot at the game. I'll probably do a vlog and maybe drop it tomorrow. I filmed some stuff for a vlog. Oh, and there's another box. I'm trying to. Oh no! And this is just what you expect. Oh, the Papa John's pizza. All right, let me do a Papa John's pizza review real quick. Thank you, Brian, but I hate you. This is so I'm in trouble now. This is a good 4,000, 5,000 calories. Papa John's. I don't even think I've ever actually had Papa John's pizza, believe it or not. Maybe once when I was inebriated and don't really remember. But Papa John's pizza. I don't know about this undercarriage, but let's see. Pretty good. For chain pizza, I'm going to go. $7.4 on the Papa John's. Traveling Devil, who let the Daws out? Who let the Daws out? It could have been Marty. It probably was Marty, honestly. I think Daws is a guy Marty has been high on. Going back a couple of years ago, there's quotes from the great Marty talking about how he liked Daws. And obviously a lot of you are going to be like, oh, it's Marty's fault. We have Rogalski and Markey here. And like, it probably is, but show me an executive who bats 1,000 that gets every single decision right. Like, okay, he whiffed on that, but to discredit his entire career and knowledge, deep, vast knowledge of the sport of hockey on and off the ice is psychotic. But I think to answer who let the Daws out, I think it may have been Marty, honestly. That was probably Marty's call. He's like, let's give this Canadian kid a look. John Fay, what a game from Jaws, Daws, and Reimer. We got another. Is someone at your door? Thank you. Yeah, someone left a package. Oh my God, I'm gonna be ill. I'm gonna be sick tonight. I was right by the railing by the Zamboni, clean catch. I thought so because I saw it pop up and I lost track of it, but then I heard everyone cheer and I think I saw you stand up, but you were off to the side of me, so it was hard to get a clean view. But great grab, bro. It's a nice little memento of a terrible season. Good game in a terrible season. All right, I'm going to have to speed ahead here. Frank says, note to self, don't get fooled again, don't get fooled again, don't get fooled again, don't get fooled again. Too late. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. Yeah, listen, I'm going to be pumped going into next season too, especially if this GM makes the big moves. But I am not going to allow myself to start fantasizing about playoff road trips and all of that. Like, I was high on the team coming into this season. Then the 8-game heater happened, and I was like, I lost my mind a little bit. And it was fool's gold. I'm not going to fall for it again. I'm going to need to see a much larger body of work, and I'm not even going to remotely allow myself to get excited until we are, I'm going to call it like right at the halfway point of the season. World's Worst Gamer says trade the pick. Traveling says we all get pulled back in, true fans. World's Worst, the time is now. Adam says Shanny president, Lou advisor, Lemaire advisor, Pandolfo in the mix, Sonny Meta GM. I wouldn't be mad with those selections. I personally want to see Jamie Langenbrunner get the chair, but if they go with Sonny Meta, I'm not going to complain. I think he could do a fine job, but as I mentioned before, Jamie Langenbrunner's breadth of experience is much wider, having done other hockey duties and jobs and things that Sonny Meta has never been exposed to. But I certainly understand the allure of Sonny Meta, and I do think he could do a fine job here. But just keep in mind, guys, the one thing I'm going to keep saying, because people get, the analytics and this and that. The Devils have had an analytics team here in place for a very long time, and you have seen the results. And so, analytics in a nutshell is a good idea, but the application and interpretation of those analytics and how you maneuver based on the analytics is a totally different thing. And like I said, I do think Sonny Meta could do a good job, but I personally would love to see Jamie Langenbrunner get the shot. But we're going to find out soon. I'd imagine, if they don't name a president by the end of this week, I would be a little bit surprised. But we shall see. Zach says, I don't care. Bring back the Markey Allen tandem and bring in some decent scoring forwards. And we have a cup contender, potentially. But Mechanicsville's going a different route and says Langenbrunner president, Sonny Meta GM. I don't know if that will happen. That would be an interesting one as well. And I think there's a chance that Marty gets the president job, if I'm being honest. I don't know. I can see this going many different ways. Mechanicsville says, keep Shanny far away from this organization. That's super, super interesting. I don't know why you would think that. I'm assuming you're just looking at how his tenure, kind of went in Toronto, and not to excuse it entirely, but hopefully he learned from his mistakes. But I do think Toronto is honestly a cursed franchise. I truly believe that. Benjamin says they love us so much we only get $1 hot dogs before puck drop. Our ownership is classy on fan appreciation night, no less. I hate to complain about stuff, but I have to say I completely agree with you, Ben. That is so cheesy. Just have dollar hot dogs all night long. Give me a break. I do think that is super just come on, man. That's an ultimate come on, man. John faces, I would not call Brady a unicorn. I would call him a brute who likes to dance with the devil, which means fighting. Well, he does a lot more than just fighting. JP says a new black jersey is coming in September. I certainly hope that it's black. Frank says, to paraphrase Little Carmine from The Sopranos, this team is at the precipice of an enormous crossroad. Little Carmine. But completely agree. Completely agree. Austin says, bring back the stadium jerseys as an alternate. So I believe contractually they cannot do that. And we've already seen that. So I actually would maybe be in the minority that I would not want to see the Stadium Series jerseys as an alternate. I want to see the reverse of the Stadium Series jersey. So the exact same jersey, but just flip it so that it's a black jersey with the red crest with no circle, the exact jersey, but just flip the colors. I think it'd be amazing. And there's some other possibilities as well. I'm going to have a dedicated video at some point on this where I'll probably pull out a bunch of jerseys and maybe show some other designs and stuff. Robbie's bench toss. Hey, marketing, just make a black jersey with the main logo or NJ without the circle, you idiots. I really would love to know exactly who is in charge of it. If it's a league thing, if it's the team, if it's Fanatics. Jason said Toffoli was a great pickup. I like Toffoli a lot. I was a Toffoli guy. A lot of people cried about trading Sharon Govich, but I believe as time went on, people kind of stopped talking about it because after Sharon Govich played lights out in his contract year, he got paid and then he kind of fell off a cliff. Collect Record says Meadowlands all day, no questions asked. Robbie's bench toss, Meadowlands for tailgating. Don't need the drills. I guess it's probably frills of the new arena. Taking the train is nice. Don't like anything else. I have never taken the train there. I have no need to. I believe that while people take the train, they are in the vast minority of attendees of the game. And to pick an arena location based on mass transit, I think is psychotic, but I don't know. Maybe they have numbers on it. I'd be really, really curious to know. But losing tailgating and everything else to me is just a massive, massive loss. JP, what do college students and the Devils have in common? They both finished the year by April. Brutal. Adam says Hughes wanted Brown on his line. No, I believe he did, but that's given the roster that's in place now. And so he looks at the roster, looks around, and he's like, yeah, give me Connor Brown. But I'm sure that certainly would change if we had, other legitimate top 6 players for him to pick from. Brown is kind of the best of what's available, and that's no knock on Connor Brown. He's done an amazing job. But I don't think that in an ideal world, you could tell me with a straight face that Connor Brown should be your top 6 winger on a cup contending team. Austin, Brown and Glass need to stay. I really, really like the 1-2 punch, and Brown works so well with Jack. He does, but I'd like to see someone more dynamic playing with Jack. But I don't think Brown or Glass are going anywhere. Benjamin, can anyone believe we are not playing hockey in May again? Yeah, I can. Only because I kind of wrapped my head around it a couple months ago. But if you had asked me that in, any point of the summer, October, November, I would have told you you're nuts. But here we are again. Completely terrible. World's Worst Gamer says Daws got screwed. To some extent, I think he was. And hopefully this kind of thing changes going forward. I think Akira Schmid kind of got a raw deal here. And thus far in his career, I feel like Nico Daws kind of did too. I can't blame the organization entirely because I think the whole Jake Allen signing for way below what he would have got elsewhere threw a monkey wrench in the whole thing. But in the end, like if you're Daws, you probably feel some sort of way towards the organization given the way his whole, career has played out thus far. Austin, can we also talk about how good the penalty kill was tonight? 2 shorthanded goals for us tonight. Yeah, it was great. Love shorties. Brings me back to the John Madden days for you old timers. John Madden, what a threat on the PK he was. David S says, "What's up, Ace? Glad you went to the game tonight. How about them Devils?" Yeah, another meaningless win, but still exciting. Still very exciting. David S. Mercer gets 20 goals, making $4 million per season. Haters from earlier in the season, deposit your Dawson apologies in the comment section below. Yeah, good luck with that, David. That ain't never gonna happen. Trust me. I'm a Mercer defender, but the people around here have their knives out. They wanted the top 6 version of Mercer that we saw through the first 14 or 15 games, and he was a point per game guy. And it does suck that, with the injuries and Chicago cut, they put him at center. He was bounced around all different lines. And then he never recaptured the magic. I really thought after those first 14, 15 games that this was the emergence of Dawson Mercer as a legit top 6. But listen, just because that did not happen does not mean Dawson Mercer is a bad player. Plays every game, can play every role and scenario. Iron Man and puts up decent bottom 6 numbers. I mean, and he makes $4 million. You people want too much. You want too much because you're greedy. What's up, Ben? Yeah, I figured. Yeah, Zaka, Boston guy. Snow says 0 apologies for Mercer. I know it was coming. Would still love to see him go. I would not love to see him go. But if he is in a package to bring in a top 6 piece, those are the decisions you got to make. Sorry, mate. It's been a bit since we chat. I know you're busy, Ben. Busy man. Can't believe, it seemed like just yesterday we were talking in the summer, and now here we are. My boys are done, about to go play golf after they play Boston on Tuesday. Rendich says, I do Brat for Larkin, but Brat is not waiving trade protection. I think he would consider it depending on where you were trying to ship him to. I'm hoping somehow the new GM can do a magic trick and do what should have been done post Toffoli when we moved on from Toffoli. And the reality is the core 4 really always needed that 5th piece. We really needed the core 5, and we've only had the core 4. And then the top 6 was rounded out with rotation of guys like Palat, Mercer, whoever it was, the flavor of the week, and rotating guys through because the answer was in the room, even though it wasn't. And I think if we ever had that 5th core piece, they could be dangerous. But given the salary cap and all of that, obviously it's all, I guess I always say, domino effect. Where's the money coming from? Can you make moves elsewhere to make it happen? But if not, then I think the shakeup needs to happen. But I would not be upset if somehow we kept the core 4 intact and then brought in another big piece to have like a core 5. Would really be nice. Justin Ames says, I don't think Bratt for Larkin would move the needle, really. I think it could. I don't know how much, but no one single move is going to move the needle, really. I mean, it's going to be a series of moves. On the back end, the forward group, potentially goaltending. Traveling said Bratt had an offseason. I wouldn't mind if he stayed. Robbie's bench toss Euro winger for an American center. Is it really even a question? You take Larkin. Adam, can we put Markstrom on waivers or trade him and retain salary, keep Daws and Allen? Something that the incoming GM may look at. Anson said, Ace, you wanted me to bring up the hypothetical trade again. Oh, man. Nico, Bratt, Timo, and Nemitz, AM34, and Brady Tkachuk. I still didn't do the numbers on that. Let's just assume Nico wanted $11 million. So you're talking about that's about $20 million between him and Timo. Bratter's like 28. Nemo's got to be at least 7. So you're talking about $35 million in salary for 21. That frees up 14. That's a really tough one. It's a really tough one. I'm leaning towards yes, but I didn't do the full due diligence. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about it. I got a lot on my plate these days. But wow, I'm leaning towards yes, but it's not an easy one. But you're getting a center back, you're getting the physical winger. It definitely be something to consider. But the good part about it is it's highly unrealistic for a variety of reasons. But I do like these crazy hypotheticals. I mean, they are fun to talk about nonsense. Austin says main issues are Markey in the defense. Allen Daws could be legit pairing. I mean, I would say that the scoring's a main issue too, Austin, or at least Jack Hughes reliant scoring. Yeah, when Jack's in the lineup, it's all good and fine. But if Jack goes down, we're in a world of trouble. Beachmaster is an 0-3 Cup winning game. Tickets that worth anything, Crispy? Is it a box office or a season ticket? I mean, it's definitely worth something. Justin Ames says we have a pretty decent bottom 6. They're just in the top 6. Mercer, Brown, Glass. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, right? And I think that's where a lot of the Mercer kind of animosity comes from with some of the fans, is because Mercer kept getting thrown into the top 6, so they believed he was going to put up those types of numbers. And in the end, he was playing there because we lacked depth. He shouldn't have been there. He's a good bottom 6 guy. But people got these wackadoo expectations because they threw him in the top 6, and they're like, oh, where's our 60, 70 points? Like, he's not that guy. I'm sorry, but he's a very good bottom 6 guy. Traveling, we need a better starting goalie and bigger, tougher forwards. All right, I gotta skip ahead here. Yeah, because I fell too far behind. Here we go. Justin Smith says, Ace, thanks for all the live streams all year. Thanks for coming out. There'll be some in the summer as well, with lots of other stuff I have planned, regular videos and things. But there'll definitely be some lives. David S., lots of fans saying meaningless points by all our star players now. I disagree, because at least we're still trying. If we stopped playing once we got eliminated, fans would be complaining we gave up. I mean, I agree that fans would be complaining we gave up, but you have to live in the real world, David. You cannot count points in games like this the same way you would count points when our playoff hopes were still alive. This is the equivalent, essentially, of, I'm trying to think of a good analogy here, of, let's just say a man and a woman, a married couple, are having marital problems. And the wife complains that, the man was not, whatever, he didn't do nice things and blah, 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 blah. And then she files for divorce. And after their marriage is basically over and she filed for divorce, the guy starts buying her flowers and doing all the little shit that she wanted him to do when it was too late. When he's like, well, I bought flowers and I did all these nice things, but who cares? At that point, you're already getting divorced. And that's kind of how I feel like with this team. You're racking up all these points, and great. At the end of the season, in years from now, when people just look at guys' stats year by year, they're not going to really understand what went behind that. But in the end, they're compiling numbers in meaningless games. And it's a bit frustrating as a fan. I know a lot of you guys are frustrated as well. Obviously, yes, David, I would rather see that than to see them mail it in and just continue to suck. But where were these efforts and where was this production when Jack was down? This entire offense is a Jack Hughes merchant. JP says the jersey needed a white Devils logo on the front to pop. That would have been interesting. I always hated all the stripes, though. Benjamin, everyone who commented we have plenty of time back in December can suck it. 4 more wins and we'd be in. It's a disaster. Yeah. I mean, listen, you could look at my channel. I always say my main thing is I try to be fair and try to be somewhat objective when talking about whatever it is with this team. But I literally made a video with the Prudential Center on fire, I believe the thumbnail was. And I think it was like 4 months ago, and it was like entitled Time to Act or something. So like, it's not like I'm using hindsight or revisionist history to be like, oh, we should have done X, Y, Z. Myself and many others were screaming from the mountaintops months ago because the signs were there. You needed to do something before the season slipped away, and it did not happen. And here we are now in our second to last game of the season, Fan Appreciation Night. Last time we saw the boys at the Rock until September, and it was all avoidable. If there were moves made when the trouble signs were there, and they were there months ago, and you could go check the receipts. I have the video, probably multiple videos with the Prudential Center on fire or something, talking about time to act, blah, 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 because it was obvious to myself and many others. But apparently it wasn't the Tom Fitzgerald. Robbie's bench toss, great contracts for Nico, Jack, and Jesper, and wasting the opportunity. It's depressing. Oh, well, yeah. Nico has 1 more year left on his team-friendly deal. Then it's over. So you're talking about that entire deal went by with no real push. I mean, obviously, Jack and Brader have some years left, but Robbie's bench toss, I fully expect the City Remix jerseys to leak this summer. Has that City Remix thing been confirmed? I saw the rumors, but I wasn't sure if it was 100% confirmed. And if that's what they're doing, then that probably is almost entirely on Fanatics, which gives me a little concern. Traveling says so much for the post-Italy diet. Brutal, I know. Jay Snow, we need a core shakeup type move. I agree, or at least another piece brought on top of them if you could do it somehow. If you can't, then there needs to be a little bit of a shakeup. Stan, was that the game electric last home game? It certainly was. Richie remembers, says Brian Bruce a pizza, White Castle, and a bottle of Jack to Ace. He chowed down about a month ago. Terrible. Oh, man. Brian is a bad. I'll tell you what, Snow. It's better than some other chain pizzas I've had. It was better than I expected. Domino's is the best of the chains. I haven't had Domino's in quite some time. Justin Ames says in Jersey, eating Papa John's is crazy. Well, at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, in most places in New Jersey, you're not getting anything other than the chains. Yeah, it's a cookie pie. It is a cookie pie. Oh, yeah, you guys saw the cookie pie. I'm super far behind. All right, let me keep scrolling. I'm getting closer. I'm definitely obesity food. Backs and Racks says package Haminaho in a trade. He's not going to get better. I like him, but I'm nowhere near calling him like an untouchable or something like many people have. To me right now, the only 2 untouchables on this roster are Jack and Luke Hughes, period. Those are my only 2 true untouchables at this point. And before the Olympics, I would have said there are no untouchables. But I always said it was very unlikely they would ever trade Jack. You're certainly never trading Jack now. New player, new guy. blockbuster, must-see TV, everything and more. So that's never happening. The only two untouchables are the Hughes brothers. Outside of that, in the right deal, anything could happen. The man from Jersey has got a picture with Brady at the game. I forgot to tell him to come to NJ. Where did you see him at? He was there, floating around. Yeah, I'm going to need some more water. Amagi, my man, the future is bright, baby. Yeah. Enjoy, man. Keep those retinas protected. If anyone, so I'm going to make an announcement for Michael here. Michael was the man that cleanly caught the puck in overtime. If anyone has video of the big screen video of his catch, please let it be known in the chat or in the comments of the comments of the video, or some way that we could get Michael this precious footage of him catching a puck in overtime at tonight's game. Please and thank you. Looking for the footage of the catch. Jay Snow says, zero confidence going into next year. Devils must prove it. Small, soft, and goaltenders suck. Oh, Brian. Oh, I forgot. All right, we got to do a wing review. Give me a second. We'll do the wings review. David Chimes says, thought it was against the code for Italians to eat Papa John's. Nah, I'm an equal opportunity employer. Sometimes, when you're dealing with time limitations, you got to make do. Ginger says, as long as Chuck Fletcher is working elsewhere, I'll be happy. See, where's the cook? It's coming. It's coming in a second. Wings pizza. Oh, man. I'm going to throw up. Tropical Flamingo Shani, President Langenbrenner, GM. All right. Give me 1 second here. All right. Let's do, we'll do the, do I have napkins in here? I got nothing. All right. Bear with me 1 second, folks. I got to grab a paper towel. Hold on. Close. All right, I had to grab this is going to be a mess. I'm not trying to get. Oh, this is so bad. When I get off of here, I'm just slowly going to eat all of this. Oh, man. It's really bad. This is really bad. All right, let me just hold on. I'm rearranging because I wasn't prepared for this. And I've been doing a project in the office, so all my surface area is kind of filled up with like books and shit that I'm sorting through here. But keep your eyes peeled, folks. I will say, put notifications on. Hit the thumbs up, obviously. Hit the thumbs up for your boy and for our New Jersey Devils. If you're not subscribed already, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit that subscription button. But keep your eyes peeled. I have, unfortunately, learned a lesson that when doing stuff that involve other people, I never like announcing it because I feel like it's the kiss of death and a jinx. And I was supposed to have Stan on the other day. Something happened. He had to postpone. I'm hoping it can happen tomorrow, but I'm not going to announce it until it's confirmed day of on game day. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that goes through for tomorrow afternoon. If it gets confirmed tomorrow, then I will post it all again and tweet it out, and it'll be on the channel. But hopefully that does go through. So I'm trying to give you guys a heads up, but it's not a definite because I've realized in life nothing's definite, right? Except for what? Death and taxes. All right. This is going to be a mess. All right. Papa John's. Wow, that focused pretty good. That focused real good. Papa John's wing review. I'm trying not to spill this on my microphone or my jersey here. This jersey has seen it all over the years, 2+ decades. Oh, wow. I'm a fan of this kind of wings. It's it's a little spicy. It's the kind of skin that's not too crispy, but it's not like slimy. It's kind of intermediate, which I'm a fan of. Like slightly crispy, but not too crispy. And it's very wet. I'm a fan of the wet wings. I don't really like the dry ones. I've come across dry wings in my life. I need them a little wet. This has got a little kick to it. I'm kind of a week's hot sauce guy. I like hot sauce, but like mild. This is probably more in the good flavor. On the wings, let me grab a. My one buddy calls these the flats. Let me get a bite of a flat. Oh wow, this one was real spicy. Ah. Wings are very good. On the wings, I'm going to go 8.3. And now, hold on. Oh, my God. Here it is. Wow. 8.3 on the wings. All right, give me a minute, and then I'm going to do the cookie. Jersey needs a chow pizza. Shout out to Traveling. My Italy Olympics pal. One of the best pizzas we ever had was technically from a chain in Italy, Chow Pizza. If you're interested in seeing lots of food from Italy, check out the Italy vlogs. But Chow Pizza, there was this burrata slice that myself and Traveling dreamed about while we were there. Dude, my mouth is on fire right now. Jason, I'm not going far, and your number one goalie is well below a 900 save percentage. Completely agree. And I'm thinking the leash, if Markey's back, you have to have a contingency plan so that like you give it a certain amount of time. If it doesn't drastically improve immediately, you pull the plug. But hopefully somehow Markey finds the fountain of youth this summer, maybe does some treatments. I don't know what the hell he does. I'm sure he has a whole bunch of things he does in the offseason. Hopefully he comes back looking like a new guy. Maria says, starting to think Brian works for the organization. Yeah, right. The organization ain't sending me nothing. I wish Brian worked for the organization. What a different situation I would be in. Ginger said they were giving away the hot dogs away for free by the second period. Were they really? I did not know that. Just the name. I know there's a timestamp on the comments, so I know. World's Worst Gamer says you're not getting Larkin for Bratt. Larkin plays a more important position and does it well. Yeah, but you could probably get with adding some picks or another piece. Like I don't think it's that far off, but I don't think they would do that straight up either. I don't know why the Larkin stuff has picked up the last couple of days. Like I don't know. I mean, I understand that Detroit's a little bit of a mess, but you know, does he truly want out of there? Like I don't know. Has he said something that I missed? Listen, I'd be thrilled to get him. World's Worst Gamer says Detroit can't afford to trade away their only decent center. Ben, as a Bruins fan, I was far more bullish on the Devils versus the Bruins making the playoffs, but I will say I live in the ECHL level, and the Adirondack versus Maine rivalry has been fun. Yeah, I went to game 6 and 7 of their playoff series a couple years ago, Ben. It was pretty awesome. Back when the Thunder had Isaac Poulter before he went on to the Winnipeg organization. Just the name still have a big hole in the top 6 with that AM34 and Brady trade. Completely agree. You're talking about trading 3 of our top forwards for 2. So it's a net loss of 1 player. Now you could make the argument of the impact of those 2 guys versus the other 3. But just in body count for top 6, you're down a guy for a group that technically really needs 2 top 6 guys. I mean, I've kind of given up on that dream. I'd be happy with 1. Zach says blaming goaltending for the season is asinine. There were 27 losses where we scored 2 goals or less. 10 of those were by a margin of 2 goals or less. No, for me, it's the scoring is the number one problem. But, you know, goaltending and everything else needs to improve for sure. But if I have to just pinpoint the disastrous season on one thing, obviously it's Chicago cut. But more specifically, the inability for the other forwards to score anything when Jack went down. Jason, no, the Jack Hughes merchants because they cannot play a dump and chase game at all. It's true. Frank, thanks, Ace, in the chat community for the season-long group therapy. It kept me sane through the insanity. Unlike most y'all, I enjoy baseball, so I probably won't be around for the off-season stuff. Ciao. Take care. There's some baseball people in here. Snow says he likes Bukestad, but he doesn't play a hard game and he's 6'6". I know. Is there any way to just unlock like a nastiness in these guys? David S. says, Ace, do you ever get random fans who come up to you during home games at The Rock and say, hey, I know you. I watch your post-game live stream channel. Yeah, David. That's pretty much anyone who I ever met at a game does some variation of that. some variation of what you described. That is exactly what happens. And it's great. Devils fans are awesome. Love all you guys. Oh, my mouth is burning. Holy shit. I ran out of water. John Fay Ace, when and if you get the chance, can you pull up Puckpedia? I just want to hear and see who's the contracts are up this season. I'll get that up in a couple minutes. Let me see. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, but it's hard to, I'm going to have to, holy shit, there's a lot of stuff on here. I'm going to see if I can fit this on one window. Samuel says we had enough wins, not enough overtime loser points. It's true. The man from Jersey went to the Chalk Talk event with Dano. Brady was in a room with a Devils staff member. It was definitely Frosty, the equipment manager, I'd imagine. He took pics with a few fans. Actually, I was surprised. Why are you surprised? Brady's a man of the people, and he's a Team USA gold medalist. He knows he's going to get love everywhere. You guys are crazy in the comments. Nah, they weren't burnt. The wings were very good. They're very good. It was the perfect level of crisp. Oh, Snow. Get your head out of the gutter, Snow. Devil's Den, I was always a fan of those jumbo breaded crispy wings. I like crispy, but they're not like the super, super crispy. Have you guys ever had the ones that it's like a lot of breading? This is not that. This is a very good ratio. Ratios are important in all sorts of foods. Chicken wings are very good. Travelin says best chain pizza ever. Oh, referring to Italy. Yeah, very good. Chrissy, maybe Brian. No, I got water. I just got to go grab it out of the fridge. Lightning JM. Oh, Christina, by the way, I'm going to send Brian. I got to go through. I got some more decent photos and footage of your situation there at the end. Lightning, I know it doesn't matter in the standings, but man, did the atmosphere look electric in the Rock. This was a good way to end the home season. Yeah, it was, but it's just another season that got away. What is this? Austin, we can say that the forwards didn't score enough, and that's totally true, but Markstrom finished with an .880 save percentage. No, it's bad. Don't get me wrong, it's bad. But if you score one goal or get shut out in 20-some-odd games, I think it was 20-something games, we scored one goal or got shut out, like, you're not going to win if prime Marty Brodeur's in net. So they're both problems for sure. David S. says Cotter and Nason for Larkin. David, listen to me very carefully, David. The Red Wings would laugh in your face with that trade proposal. That is nowhere near the realm of reality. The man from Jersey says, surprised because we were fans of the opposing team. That's the thing. I've talked about this forever. Some athletes might be like that, and I mean this with all due respect to other athletes. I've encountered and met and had conversations spanning from short to super long with athletes of every sport over the years. Hockey guys are the best guys on the planet, bar none. No, the only other athletes that are remotely close, and I don't even know, I've been out of the game for a little bit in this regard. The only other athletes that were anywhere near the same level of like just cool and showed love to fans always were boxers and MMA guys back in the day. I haven't really come in contact with any of the newer school guys for the most part, but back in the day, MMA guys were right up there with hockey guys, like totally normal, approachable, respectable to fans, would give you their time, do whatever. I'm sure some of them are still like that, but hockey guys are the best guys on the planet, period. And a guy like Brady Tkachuk knows that most people at the games in New Jersey are American. And I'm sure some people even said something to him about the Olympics or whatever. And so he's very aware, but they don't care that you're technically not a fan of his NHL team. He understands exactly what it is as a public figure and an athlete. And I'm sure it was a super cool moment for the lucky Devils fans that were able to meet him and take a picture with him or whatever it happened. John Fay, the entire 200s won Mrs. Fields cookies after a second win of the night. Remember that. Remember that. There's something in my vlog about that. But let's do the cookie review. The cookie cake. Oh, my God. Cookie cake review. Oh, shit. I broke it. Oh, this chocolate looks... Can we get this? It looks better in person than it does on the camera, I'll tell you that. Let's see. Get you the cross section. It's not focusing good. A nice golden brown. Some nice semi-melted chocolate morsels. On the cookie, I'm going to go... Oh, shit. $6.8. 6.8 on the... All right, I'm almost caught up. I'm skipping here. Gleason, the worst thing about this team is the fans actually care about the team, but we can all predict the worst possible thing, and it likely happens. Everyone knew they'd finish out the season well. Yeah. Winning games when it didn't matter. David said, Ace, you should get a new yellow pair of sunglasses after the season ends on Tuesday because the future is sunny. It may or may not be, but it certainly is bright. The future is bright. That's why I'm protecting these retinas. And some of you are now protecting your retinas as well. Zach says, people keep pointing to Markey's save percentage and goals saved above expected, but has anyone recognized that Bradshaw's defensive system is atrocious and we left our goalies out to dry in most games? I have to say, shout out to my man Tim of Uncle Puckers. If you haven't seen Uncle Puckers, check them out. I was folding some laundry the other day and listening to Uncle Puckers, and Tim kind of went on a rant about Bradshaw specifically. And I think his line was like, we got sold a bill of goods on Bradshaw, whatever, blah, blah. And I was in tears listening to it. And maybe we were kind of fleeced with Bradshaw, as I think Snow pointed out, like what defensemen seemed to get better under Bradshaw? And the simple answer is none. But I do think, I don't know. There's so many, it's hard to even pinpoint specific things on a season like this because it seems like everything went to hell almost. Austin says you wouldn't win with Prime Brodeur in net. Now I could be wrong, but that sounds like some blasphemy to me. Austin, when you score one goal, you need the goalie to get a shutout. Literally, if you score one goal, the only way you win is if your goaltender pitches a shutout. I mean, I'll tell you this. Marty wasn't facing the quality of shots and quantity, honestly, that this Devils team is giving up. Like, this team bleeds chances against. The old school Devils were very sound defensively. They were not giving up the 2-on-1s and all of the high danger chances you see this team just leaking on a nightly basis or near nightly basis. David S. says Markstrom's save percentage numbers might not be terrible, but when you give up the first shot in the first 3 minutes, it deflates the team, so his save percentage stat becomes irrelevant. Well, no stats are irrelevant, but in the end, you can't just fold up and give up if your team goes down. Like, unacceptable. You're going to be trailing in some games. TJK says, I better never see Marky wear an NJ sweater again. I think there's a very good chance that you do. Gleason, you got to understand all the nuances between all those teams and systems. I missed something before that. Faye, are we doing a playoff bracket because another starts Sunday? Yeah, I will be posting that. I will be posting that soon. There will be some prizes on the line once again for the the playoff bracket challenge. Ethan says, Ace, that girl that I went on a date with decided to get with her ex. Whoa. Time out. I need to go get a beverage. I'll be back in 1 second, guys. We're going to need to get to the bottom of this. Ethan, you told us you were going on a pre-date, which sounded like the most extensive date ever, by the way. If I'm not mistaken, it was dinner, the Penguins game, and then she was sleeping over. And then, if I'm not mistaken, before that pre-date, which was really a very long date, was planned, you had told us she became your girlfriend. I'm so confused. I have so many questions. I'm sure some people in the chat will have questions as well. Back in 1 second, I need to grab a drink because I think Brian played a prank on me and maybe sent me nuclear wings. No, they definitely weren't nuclear, but they were hot. Hold on 1 second. Be right back. Oh, guys, I'm so disgusting. And this is what happens when my little nephew slept over and they left. They went ham on these, but there's plenty left. And so now Uncle Ace is going to. Oh, there's nothing like Coke Classic, guys. This is the second victory drink on the evening. A Coke. There's nothing like a Coke Classic. Just the old school, fully flavored, full calories. All right, we need to know, Ethan, what the hell happened here? You told us it was your girlfriend. Now she went back to her ex. I feel like I'm living in a MTV drama reality show here. Jay Snow, we'll get back to Ethan's drama in a minute. You need to be strong on the walls, hard on pucks, forecheck. We don't do those things. Completely agree. And it's not going to happen overnight, and that's why you need to bring in some guys that do that stuff. Oh, my God. Coca-Cola is a top 5 drink on the planet. I mean, what are you even putting up there with Coke? Coke is unbelievable. Gleason, you need to be able to score in a variety of ways to succeed, but you're overdoing it is the point. It's all the same oversimplified stuff. Well, I mean, but it's true. I mean, we don't do those things. David Chimes, do you think Keefe stays odds? At this point, I thought it was 50-50 like a week or two ago. Now I'm thinking it's probably more likely that he does get fired, which is unfortunate. I think he got a raw deal here. And I think the players failed him, and certainly Fitz failed him. And if they move on from him, so be it. And it sucks. And I'm sure he'll get another job somewhere. And if that does happen, I wish him the best of luck in his future. I do think he should get a crack on a short leash for next season. And if it doesn't, just like I said with Markey, You have to just go into it saying we're hoping for the best. And early on, if it does not look like it's working out, we're pulling the plug quickly. But the plug could be pulled very soon. Good night, traveling. Zach says the only fireable offense Keefe committed was hiring Shaw. Our last guy had us giving up no more than 20 shots in a game for months. Now it's 15 plus high danger chances per game. Yeah, the predate. Roberts has stopped the presses. Meadowlander, what's up? I think Pesci's the type of dog we need more of, but he has missed a lot of games on IR. The best ability is availability, which brings us to one of the many, in my opinion, many positive attributes of the dog, Dawson Mercer, the New Jersey Devils Ironman record. I think he broke Zajak's record, 400 and something games. You guys are ruthless. Justin Ames says, oh, damn, Ethan, she took you for a ride. You're a Devils fan, so you've been groomed for this sort of thing. Wow. David S. says, Ace, do you think this was Dougie's last time as a Devil at the Rock tonight? Man, it's another tough one. I think it's going to be very, very dependent on who the GM is and what they really see this group as going forward. I've said since last summer, I do like Nemo. I just don't see a world where you pay Nemo the money he wants and bring Dougie back. It seems, in terms of salary cap, guys on the right side's already crowded. I just don't see how you bring both back. And if I'm being honest, and I've said this before as well, Dougie is the more win now piece. Like if you had to pick one of those defensemen to try to win a cup in the next 2 years, Dougie is the more valuable player to the team. But you also do have to think about the future somewhat when you're looking at things like this, but it's a very, very tough one. Probably one of the tougher ones, in my opinion, in the offseason. And in an offseason, it's going to have a lot of tough decisions. Faye said you can never go wrong with a nice cold Coke. Jason, no, didn't she sleep at your house? She was supposed to. Ethan says, Ace, it's an interesting situation. She still wants to date me, but still wants to date the ex. So she wants to keep me a secret. I don't know. I am just confused. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So many things are like that. I just go, all right. I have a lot of thoughts on this. Let me process all this while we, wow. Maria says dumper. Maria's firmly on dumper. Meadowlander says if she gets in your bed on the first date, it's not a pre-date. Oh boy. Ryan, I would trade the pick in any of the prospects except the Russian kid. I'm assuming are you talking about Grits? Come on, have some respect. His name is Arseny Gritsuk, and he's a beast. All the NHL scouts are high on him. Oh, no, you're talking about Salayev probably. And they'll say he'll be great behind Luke and Quinn. Yeah, you're talking about Salayev. If he goes to Jersey, they say he's a Chara. Listen, Ryan, if I've learned one thing in my time of being a fan, when you hear prospects referred to as the next, and then it's like an all-time great player, don't listen because you're already setting yourself up for disappointment and failure. People, they did this to use a previous Devils example of this. When Adam Larson, I don't know how long you've been a fan, but Adam Larson was a high draft pick for the Devils. I think he was 5th overall or something. I'm so old. 14 years ago. When the hell was Larson drafted? Let me see. Yeah, 2011. And we took him. Where is 4th overall? Swedish defenseman. At the time, there were coaches, scouts, people that were like, he's the next Nick Lidstrom. As soon as I heard that, I was like, holy shit, that is the kiss of death. To call a guy the next Nick Lidstrom, one of the greatest defensemen of all time. If you believe this random kid you're drafting is the next Nick, or you're talking about him as if he's the next Nick Lidstrom, completely insane. Now, he just played his 1,000th game with the Kraken. a few weeks back, and congratulations to him. He carved out a great NHL career for himself. Never really lived up to that draft pick status, but 1,000 games in the league is incredible. But when you hear someone say the next Chara, like Ernie, you're getting sold a bill of goods. Gleason, you do need someone who could forecheck on the team and retrieve pucks. We're not a dump and chase team, and we probably can't succeed like that, but you need lineup variety. Yeah, I don't think the variety's there. We've talked about it. It's just a lot of similar players, and we need some dogs and some guys that do things that the guys on the team now don't do. You got to change that DNA a little bit. Faye says, Ethan, you have yourself in quite the predicament here, but I would bounce. That's what the kids would call nowadays a big red flag. Austin says, run now. Gleason, as long as Pesci is healthy when it matters, that is what is most important. Well, great. What it's most important in the playoffs, but playoffs, trying to win a game. Justin Smith, Justin says, Ethan, get rid of the girl. Jay Snow, I never said it one way or another, but being dead last at puck retrievals isn't going to get it done. Completely agree. John Fay, before it gets serious, I would back out while you still can because that's just a big red flag, as the kids call it nowadays. Justin Ames says, holy hell, me and Justin agree on something. Jay Snow, we're not just bad at it, we're the worst in hockey at it. Gleason chiming in says, you will never get through life dating without a woman disrespecting you or doing some BS. It's part of life, and you get no apologies for it. Wait, Ethan, how old are you? Are you in college, Ethan? I forget. TJK says, Dougie has zero value. He plays zero defense. Lazy terrorist when it comes to defensive plays. I have to disagree. He clearly has value. You're going to see. Just remember this conversation. Yeah. David Chimes says, an entire season of As the World Turns and one predate. Anson says, get out immediately. And then Vecna saying, Ethan is a side piece. It certainly sounds like it. I didn't want to be the one to say it, but it seems like Ethan is the side piece that provides excellent dates. Dinner and a Devils game. Robert says, oh, God, run, dude. Run. Get out of there. Zach, Nemitz failed to clear the net front traffic on the first goal against tonight. Not a worthy defender and not worth $9 million plus. Well, I mean, Zach, are we going to judge the guy's whole career trajectory and worthiness or value to a team on one play? I mean, there's tons. Again, super young kid. Defenseman develops slow. I think he's going to be very good. Now, would I be skittish about paying him a lot of money? Yes. I was skittish about paying Luke a lot of money too, but that was also, you're gambling on the future. It's obviously very different because it's Jack's brother, and that contract was, in my opinion, and many others, was supposed to be the second to last step of getting Quinn here. And our former GM found a way to botch that one. Gleason said, I wonder if Ethan is legit because I can't see someone being here making this up for fun. I genuinely believe this is a real story. We could be getting trolled. TJK says Ethan's got to be trolling. I don't think he is. Justin Ames says, when she said she loves me, bro. Faye says he's not trolling. Faye, Snow, you're a savage, Snow. Total savage. Anson says, Ethan, there's more fish in the sea than one. Metalander, Mercer has a streak of games because he goes out of his way to avoid contact, sometimes by giving up the puck, trade immediately. I think that's a little bit harsh. Oh, my God, this Coca-Cola is life-changing. It was upgraded to a date. Ethan said, it's also my fault. This is why you don't date your teammate's ex. So I also blame myself. Oh, boy. This has got a lot of side plots and twists to it. Run, Ethan. The girls. Let me go. Oh Oh, man. What goes on? Gleason says, don't date anyone who dates you because you play a sport. Well, I mean, I didn't want to, what do we, I guess everyone's definition of date would be different, I suppose. "22 in college." Okay. I have a lot of thoughts on this, but I'm gonna keep some of them to myself. Amagi, getting tired of the Dougie slander. I mean, listen, I get it. Some of the plays in the D zone, you're like, what are we doing here? But for a team that struggled to score goals for most of pretty much the whole time Jack was out, sometimes you like to see those offensive contributions in the back end. And Dougie is that guy. Now, I do think Luke is going to continue to get better and bring more of that production. But having both of them simultaneously was a nice luxury. Ryan says, when she belongs to the streets, you throw her there and forget about her. Oh, man, he's telling her about the streets. Streets! There's a lot of them out there that are for the streets, especially nowadays. I hear a lot of stories from the youngins. I have a bunch of young affiliates in their young 20s, mid-20s, and I hear some stories. Ethan Ace, to admit she does have a way more gorgeous twin. So, all right, now Ethan might be trolling. I don't. This is just too much stuff now. He said he just revealed that it was his teammate's ex, and now he's talking about she has a twin. I mean, if she has a twin sister, that's obviously what you do. Let's be real. Maria said, wish I had all this advice when I was dating back in the day. Oh, the crazy thoughts of random strangers in an internet live stream chat, Maria. Yeah, this guy goes, she's got a twin. You could always say you got them confused. Oh, you guys are funny. I'm dying over here. And I'm thinking about having a second Coca-Cola. Team Labat, Ace wanted to hop on to say thank God the season's over. It's not over yet. We got one more. What a shame the season turned out to be a total failure. At least we'll have some new leadership in the front office. Yeah, it sucks that it's over. This season went by very quickly, and it does seem like very recently we were all getting fired up collectively in the summer, talking about the preseason and the season opener and all of this stuff. And here we are. One more game left on the season, and it's going to be a long summer once again. Metalander, don't feel right about giving Nico a big bag. Would rather look around for a Tuck or Brady to give $11 million. Well, I don't know how many of those guys, especially now with the cap going up, and these guys about to get paid, a lot of teams are probably going to be hesitant to trade some of their guys who are, price controlled and under contract for years. Jason knows that I am a complete savage, Ace, especially at 22. Yeah. Austin said Ethan's being left faster than Crawford left the Devils. What a bizarre story, right? I mean, when you look back at the weird shit that's happened with this team over the past 10 years or so, the Corey Crawford one is certainly nuts. Yeah, you are going to say what I once know, you savage. Listen, I think the more games you watch, instead of assuming Dougie is some horrible defenseman in his own end, you learn that he's pretty solid defensively. He only looks lazy because he's 6'6" and doesn't hit a lot. I wish he had a mean streak and crushed people, but you can't get everything. Overall, I've defended Dougie for a very long time. I told everybody last summer that I was hesitant to trade him. Last summer, a lot of people were like, trade him this summer, trade him this summer. This season probably would have been much uglier, honestly, if we traded Dougie last summer. But I do think he's one of those guys that if and when we move on from him, people are going to look back and be like, damn, we missed Dougie. Just like I said, I think last night, a lot of people kind of said that about Damon Severson. In my opinion, Dougie brings a lot more offense than Severson did. And people realized what we were missing when he was gone too. Faye says, we are funny, we are crazy, we are insane. We are New Jersey Devils fans, baby. Vecna Fitzgerald, are you going to do lives in the offseason weekly? I think so. We'll see. I have a lot of ideas and thoughts and things regarding the offseason. So keep your eyes peeled. But I will be making the fan appreciation announcement soon, which is going to be a fun one. But I think I will do at least one live per week, probably with a call-in element. And there's going to be a lot of other kind of videos throughout the summer as well. Should be a good summer if I have a lot of things in the works. Justin's just going to end up with 8 cats. Get rid of her. CNJ Dev, unless something happens, what would there be to talk about? Well, there's constantly stuff to talk about. I mean, you have, well, first of all, from now through, we have playoffs, which doesn't necessarily involve the Devils, but it's still hockey. And then you have the draft, free agency, and then then you're into July, and then July and August are pretty much the slow months. Zach, I saw Frank the Tank at the Rock today. I'm surprised he wasn't hospitalized after seeing his crash outs over the Mets. At least the Devils gave him some relief. Well, he had some Devils crash outs over the season too. Shout out to Frank. His teams are not doing very well right now. David Chimes, I missed the reason people think Brady might want out. Is there something truly to it? I think so. It could be much ado about nothing, but I don't think it is. He is an American guy playing in a Canadian city. The media has given him a lot of shit over the past year or so. And, people are just kind of speculating he could be over it all. David Ace Jack passed Quinn in points on the season, despite being out from Chicago cut. How crazy is that? I mean, in Quinn's defense, he is a defenseman. But, yeah, Jack has been on a different level after the Olympics. Good night, Austin. David Chimes says 100% agree about Dougie. Ethan said, Ace, I am going to go on one more date with her one last time, Ace. I need to one last time. Why do you feel the need to do it one more time? David Chimes says Dougie's a legit number 1 defenseman. Jay Snow says, you're asking for trouble, Ethan. Don't catch feelings. Oh, boy. John Fay, no, you fool. You run away from the danger, not towards it. Oh, man. Jay Snow says, the truth is we're hoping and wishing for Brady. We certainly are. Ethan said, if you saw what she looks like, you would want to date her. A typical NJ girl, like, damn. Oh, man. I'm surprised no one already typed what I know is going to be coming anytime soon. JP Ace, Stan is 90, correct. JP, you are incorrect. Stan just turned 94 about a week or two ago. Stan is 94, still going strong. And there it is. Matthew E. wrote it. I knew it was coming. Stan is 94, and I'm hoping he's on the program soon. Could be tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled. Ryan, for everything, I guess everyone crying about Dougie, the Devils could have Evan Bouchard, who plays zero defense. Oilers fans hate him, and not even Team Canada wanted him in the Olympics. Well, I mean, they have so many guys to pick from, though. I mean, it's a little hard to use them as, Team Canada could have made a B team that would have been lethal. Oh, my God. Coke is so good. Amagi, apparently they had a pin tonight. Disappointed I missed out. Had no idea. I only saw that after the fact, too. Didn't know about it till after. I know, right, Maria? To be 22? I would love to be 22 again. Some of the best years of your life, or at least most people's. Some of the best years of my life were in that range. I would say what was the best times of my life? If I had to pick like 10 years, I would probably pick 15 to 25. Probably my favorite 10-year stretch. Ethan said, Ace, she would have gotten free Canes tickets so I could watch the playoffs. I would have to reject that. I don't know. There's a lot of elements going on here. This story gets crazy. Maria said, I just wish Dougie would throw his body more, use his size. Yeah, I want all big guys to start crushing people. I had hope that this year he might start turning it up in that department, because early in the season he had like two pretty memorable hits. One of them, he knocked a dude off the puck, and then I think he picked it up and fired a pass up to somebody, and they scored. And I was like, oh my, I was going nuts. I forget what the other one was. But then I don't think we ever saw a hit like that ever again. Those were either in October or November. CNJ Dev says, the best year of my life was 30. I'll be 42 this year. I'm trying to think. 30. My 30 year was decent. Yeah. I still, if I had to just pick the 10 years, I would go with the younger era. But I think my 30-year-old year was decent. Amagi, being a Devils merch collector is a miserable life. So much inaccessible stuff like the player jerseys they're auctioning off. Those might not go that crazy. I would be way more interested in those if they had worn them. I do think the league is super corny for what they, for shutting down all the warm-up jerseys. But maybe these will go for a lot. I don't know. You got some gamers, Amagi. Go big. Go big for a player. You want the player jersey? Go for one. You might be able to snag one. Anson said, Ethan, don't reward bad behavior. This is the way. CNJ Dev, I think Nemitz is gone after the season. I don't know if he would get what Luke got, and it probably sticks in his craw. I agree. I think, but the thing is, I think he had a stronger argument for it before he got injured. Like when he was just going nuts. After he came back, it doesn't seem like he's had the same. Well, he definitely hasn't anywhere near that production. Obviously, he was scoring all those dramatic goals, but I don't think his impact overall has been the same. If he was anywhere near that level when he came back, I think he would have been more justified in it. Now, I still think he's going to want money, and it's justified, but Luke money might be a little crazy. JP says, Ace, put your nephews on over the summer. Maybe. Kids are overly into the whole internet scene. Metalander, no one finishes checks on this team. Need new DNA. I agree. I want the dogs. I want the dogs. Amagi, I got those gamers for steals, thankfully. Those auctions go bonkers even when not worn. My friend wouldn't even say how much he paid for his Covey Hockey Fights Cancer since he won that auction. You could look it up. There's a way to look it up. Anson says, what if Jack Hughes stole your girlfriend? Would you still buy his jersey and get the auto? Oh, you guys are funny. All right, you guys have anything else? This went off the rails. What a win for the boys in the season finale at home. Beating the Sens in overtime on an exciting power play. What is all this? I gotta get cracking in here. I got a lot to do. Maria says they were only giving out 500 of those pins. They gave them out or they were selling them. I didn't even get the shirt because people were lined up like crazy early. It was all a mess. All right, I'll pull up the Puckpedia in a minute. Ian says, calling it now. We missed the playoffs next season by 1 point. Come on. Metalander, I'm not sure this is the best place to seek relationship advice. Just saying. Oh, I'm positive it's not the best place, but it's certainly entertaining. Just the name. Have a good night. We'll see you Tuesday. Amagi, I didn't get the shirt because of the crazy traffic, but I didn't want it that much anyway. I'm a pin collector, so the pin is right up my alley. David chimes, nobody in the market is paying Nemo Luke money. His defensive game has not progressed much. Luke's D-side progressed. Nemo's an RFA. Screams, prove it, Bridge. Oof. Maria said, giving them out at the tunnel picture area on the main concourse. Yeah, I totally missed it. I had no idea. There was so much shit going on. It's kind of overload. All right, we're going to look at Puckpedia. Let me go. That's hard to see. All right, back in 1 second. Let me dump some of this garbage. Back in a minute, we'll look at this roster breakdown before we close it down. Closing time. Let me get rid of this too. Back in 1 second. Puckpedia. I need to unplug from the internet. This was another. Can you see this? I haven't even opened it yet. This is the Italy jersey. This was on sale on Fanatics, and I had to buy it. Oh, shit. Knocking over posters. I really like the Italy Olympic jersey. All right, we're looking at the Nico Daws shirt. Well, let's go to 26-27 first. First UFA, Evgeny Dodonov. Easiest, good riddance. Unfortunately, it did not work out here. Good luck to you on your career. It's over. So that's an easy one. Grits is an RFA. Hopefully that doesn't spill into training camp like we've seen. No, Gleason, the Italy jersey is just blank. Grits, obviously hoping to ink him up long-term to something fair for both sides. Hopefully the new GM gets that taken care of quickly and we don't see that take forever like all of the RFAs did with Fitz. Zach McEwen, UFA. Interesting one. Liked what we saw from him in the very few games he played. Can skate, big, has size, could fight, has a nasty streak. Was really hoping he could be part of an identity fourth line that we haven't really had in quite some time. I have no idea what the hell happened with his injury. He got injured twice. It was season ending from months ago, so he may never be the same. Who knows? If the medicals come back and whatever, and he is like his pre-injured self, I would consider it, but I have no idea. Paulie Cotter. another interesting one for me. Paulie Cotter. I'm a big Paulie Cotter guy. He's been bounced around everywhere. Obviously, ridiculous in the shootout. If he gets in on a breakaway, he's nearly automatic. We saw it the other night. Not sure what kind of money he'd be looking for, but I'm a Paul Cotter guy. I feel like he could figure it out, hopefully as a Devil, and find a role and with consistent line mates, kind of take that next step. But we'll see. I know a lot of people aren't really so into Cotter, but I've always liked Cotter. What the hell is UFA Group 6? I don't even know what the hell it is. McLaughlin? No idea. I could see him on a two-way maybe. A Utica guy that you could call up if you have injuries. Brian Hallinan, kind of in the same boat with him, I think. Does he take a two-way? Start the season in Utica and maybe one of the first guys called up when there's injuries? I don't know. Then you get to D. Chalowski is a UFA. I don't know if he would get an NHL contract anywhere. I mean, that could be another guy. Again, like, does he get a two-way deal? Start in Utica. Villain, same thing. Is Villain getting a couple games here as an audition to kind of assess where he's at in his development? Do they see him as a guy that you could potentially maybe move on from a guy like Siegs, free up that cap space, and replace Siegs with Villain? Is something like that possible? Or even maybe a Dilly? Do you move off a veteran and replace them with a guy like Villain at a discount? I think these are all potential things. And then obviously Shimo Nemetz, RFA. Big question mark. What is his bottom line number going to be? Does he want to be here? Does he want to go somewhere else? I feel like that's very kind of tied to the Dougie situation. I don't think you can get rid of both of them. Then I think your right side's very up in the air. So that one is a very interesting one. And then obviously Nico Daws, another RFA that we talked about before. What do you do with Nico Daws, right? If Markey and Allen do come back, you're telling Daws, you're going to be in Utica again. And don't worry, if someone gets hurt, you're coming up. Like, it's a mess. When you look at it, there's really a lot of decisions to make for the incoming GM. A lot of decisions. We always forget about Nace. Shout out to Nace, the junkyard dog. Poor guy's had some bad luck with injuries as well. Going into the final season of his contract next season. But yeah, a lot of decisions to make here. No shortage of work for the incoming GM. Faye says, what's really got my attention is that Jack's modified no trade clause goes into effect next season. Why does it have your attention, Faye? We're literally never trading Jack. So what is the difference? Jack was never getting traded before the Olympics. I've told you guys that forever. He was never going to be traded. After he scored the golden goal, the only way he gets traded is like the final year of his deal if he doesn't sign an extension. And even then, I don't know if they would. Well, new GM, so I got to change I'm still kind of programmed on Fitz logic. But he's going nowhere. Absolutely going nowhere. Snow says you'd have Pesci and Kobe, so you'd only need you'd have Pesci and Kobe, so you'd only need one more D-man. Yeah, the two guys on the right side that are your offensive defensemen. Exactly. I feel like moving Nemo and Dougie would be wild. But if you have guys that you could bring in on a discount that you believe could perform anywhere near their level and you could put that money to use somewhere else, maybe it's worth exploring, but it certainly seems like a tall order. Gleason says, just tender Cotter his RFA offer and let him take that or walk, nothing more. I mean, I think that's probably fair. Faye, which is why I wanted to see and go over this. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I forgot about Nace. They got to figure out something with Siplikov. I mean, that whole thing was just. Faye said, why give him the clause if he is never being traded? Well, what do you mean? Why give him the clause? The clause is for his peace of mind. But obviously, guys just want it in writing. You don't want to be speculating. But he's certainly never getting traded. TJK, I'm someone who trade Dougie for a stopgap defenseman that would perform better than him at a lower price. I mean, better than him by what metric? You're not going to get a defenseman who puts up or brings his offensive upside for a lower price. If you're talking about strictly defense, then sure. And I'm not totally mad at that notion, but you better that stopgap. You better really nail it with that player, because it's just there's so much stuff. It really is. I do think we're right at that pivotal crossroads again. While I believe it's the biggest offseason, there's several moves that need to be made all over the board here. And if you get them right, I feel like we could be somewhat of a legit contender. And if you bomb them, we could be in a disastrous way. It's all going to be contingent on these decisions and how they play out. Snow says we're spending way too much on the defense. Completely agree. Faye, I would let the Donov walk, send Lenny down for another season, re-sign Cotter for 2 years at 1.3 to 1.8, probably, just guessing, and sign Grits. As for D, I would see what cap we are working with, and then put the rest in Nemo. Typo, I'd let walk. I'm talking about Siplikov. He's under contract for next year at 2.25. That's why at the time, even when people were like, a lot of people were literally a little overly complimentary, I would say, towards Fitz, when they were like, oh, he traded Palat and didn't have to retain salary. But that day I said, well, if Siplikov is of no use to you and you want him gone, essentially that's $2.25 million of salary retention, call it, because you got a player that you're not going to play that has no future here. Palat made $6 million, so the overall savings was what, 3.75 or whatever. But Siplikov's 2.25 is basically, it's almost the same thing as retaining, honestly. But I get it. I mean, trading Palat obviously turned out to be extremely difficult. TJK, Dougie, I think, goes to a stop gap defensive or two-way minded D-man, and Nemitz goes towards a top 6 forward. We're probably going to be 10, 12 overall in the draft. You could trade the pick, but I do like Ryan. Yeah, but he could be cut. They could get rid of him somehow for nothing. Yeah, I can't keep up with all the legal mumbo jumbo and the loopholes and the this and that. I don't know how you could just. I don't understand how they're going to get rid of him for nothing. But okay, I'll have to look into that. How to get rid of the Siplikov money? Faye, I think Glass should get an extension depending on how he does next year. Where's he on here? He's got one more year at 2.5. He's gonna get a nice payday probably too. So Nichols talking about it, could be wrong. It was a while ago. JP, shore up the goaltending first. It doesn't matter who we have if our netminder is a piece of Swiss cheese. TJK, Siplikov and Bukestad can easily be dumped to a lottery team that needs to meet salary floor. I'm not fully giving up on Bukestad yet, just because we have not had 4 NHL quality centers like in forever. And I do like that Bukestad's big. Like, can you get him to get humming and a little nastier with the right line mates and could he be a part of an identity fourth line? I feel like he could be, but he's certainly an improvement in my opinion over, the Dowlings of the world and the Glendennings. David chimes, we could bury Siplikov in the minors without penalty. He had a bad season after a good rookie year and can come back. So he can be put in the minors. And TJK, Markey could be bought out or even trade and retain 3 of his $6 million to a team looking for a veteran backup. Would be interesting to see what the market for him would be. if teams would take a chance. A team might. I do think there's a chance the Devils do bring him back, and I hope he comes back looking like a new dude. Faye, how much cap are we working with as of right now? There's so many. Where the hell did this thing go? As of right now, it says current cap space is 3.5. So projected cap space for next season at the moment is 12.1. That's the current projected for next season. 12, it's almost 12.2. But like in the end, it doesn't matter. There's so many moving parts on this. Like I don't really care what the number is because there's just so many, is Nemo going to get signed? Is he not? Is any other salary on the move out? So like cap space is meaningless to me, honestly, at this point, that whatever the number is at the moment, because it's going to change. Anyone got anything else? Oh, man. What a season. If only we could have just got some loser points, never had that dinner at Chicago cut. So many different things could have changed the season overall. But here we are talking about September again. Once again, looking towards September. All right, that's it, guys. I got shit. Wow, it's late. Yeah, this game went by late. I got to catch up on some things. Our beloved New Jersey Devils giving the home faithful and the Jersey a proper send-off, beating the Ottawa Senators by a score of 4-3 in overtime. What a thrilling game. The jerseys were sent out in style. And what could have been another season down the drain. Bittersweet night. Back in action Tuesday at Boston for the season finale. We're going to have a lot to talk about after that one as well. Keeping our eyes peeled tomorrow. Could there be some announcements coming from the New Jersey Devils in terms of front office positions? It's always a possibility. Monday would be interesting. And we'll see what happens, guys. But I'm tired. I kind of feel sick now from all the stuff I ate. Shout out to Brian for poisoning me. I'm probably going to take some of more of this down on the way. But yeah, guys, is it September yet? Is it September yet? Going to be a long summer. I'm going to enjoy those beach outings and barbecues and the concerts and all the summer things, but I will be missing my New Jersey Devils hockey. That's it, guys. That's it. Back Tuesday. Tons of off-season stuff in the works. That's it. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go